Hey guys, thanks for joining in. Let me just give a quick statement about where I think we are. Of course, none of us are clairvoyant, but at this juncture, I think we're going to have a partial government shutdown. Let me explain that. That doesn't mean that I want to have a government shutdown. I don't think anybody wants a government shutdown, except perhaps for some who think it would hurt President Trump politically. I don't think I know President Trump is not happy to have a government shutdown. And I join him in that unhappiness, but I'm also not happy that 500,000 people a year are coming across our border without being properly vetted. I don't want my people in Louisiana to worry. Nobody's Social Security check or Medicare or Medicaid or any other benefit offered by the federal government will be impacted. So please don't worry. If you're on Medicare, you earned that Medicare, you won't notice the difference. Same for Medicaid, same for Social Security. I don't want people to worry. This will impact if it indeed happens. But I'm not going to bubble wrap it. I think there's a very good chance it will happen. It'll impact 9 agencies, 9 departments of the federal government, about 30% of our budget. It'll impact the Department of Transportation, Homeland Security, State Department, Interior, I believe Agriculture's on the list, Justice Department, HUD. I might be leaving out a couple, but it's 9 of them. We are trying to work it out with our Democratic friends. It's a procedure of trial and error. So far, it's been more error than trial. We will eventually get it worked out if people will take their meds and negotiate in good faith. So far, our Democratic friends have not. You could drown in their hypocrisy. Most of the opponents of the border wall, the border security measures, already supported the Secure Fence Act in 2006, and I think that they're primarily against it now because the president is suggesting it. To me, this issue is pretty straightforward. Legal immigration makes our country stronger and better. Illegal immigration does not. It undermines legal immigration. Illegal immigration is illegal. Some of my Democratic colleagues apparently don't believe that, but it's illegal. Border walls, barriers, slats, fences, whatever you want to call them, work. They're working right now in San Diego and Yuma and El Paso, and they're working on the West Bank in Israel. Border walls are working in India, Saudi Arabia, Bulgaria, Malaysia, Norway, and I could keep going. They work. And if you believe in border security and you're serious about securing your borders, border walls are very, very, very effective. I missed the meeting at the White House this morning because I was on an airplane, but I have talked with the president about this issue before, not today, and I've talked to my colleagues who were there. He feels like, and I think he's right, he feels like Congress has jerked him around on this issue, and I think Congress has. And he takes no pleasure in doing this, but he's mad as hell and he's not going to take it anymore. We still have time. We're voting right now on the House resolution, which would provide funding for the wall. House concurrent resolution. I've been presiding on the Senate for 2 hours, so I just left. The vote has been held open for a while. I hope we win it, but we've got to get 60 votes, and my guess is we won't. And then we'll see what happens. And that's kind of where we are. But let me just say this categorically. I'm not happy to see government shut down, nor is President Trump. But President Trump is right on this issue. Illegal immigration is illegal. Border security, including but not limited to a border wall, can slow down the illegal immigration. And we ought to provide the president the money to do that, all $5 billion plus. That's where we are. I'll be glad to answer questions. Can I add one more thing? There's been so much rhetoric in this. I'm not suggesting to anybody that the 500,000 people who try to enter our country illegally are all bad people. I think many of them want a better life. Now, not all of them. Some of them are drug dealers. Some of them are child sex traffickers. Some of them are members of gangs. Some of them are terrorists. But illegal immigration is illegal. We invite about 1 million of our world's neighbors to come into America every year. These are people that they apply, they follow the law, they follow the rules, they get in line, they wait patiently, and they believe in the rule of law as we all do. You either believe in the rule of law or you don't. And they have dreams too. And illegal immigration undermines the legal immigration that I'm very proud of in this country. And it needs to stop. And President Trump's only sin is he decided to enforce the law. Our immigration laws aren't broken. They're just not being enforced. And there's been a 15-year bipartisan effort here in Washington, D.C. to ignore them. And Trump has decided to enforce them. And I think he's right to do that. Now, I'll answer questions.
Questions? Harrison?
Yes, Senator. Thank you for your time. Obviously, a busy few hours coming up. There's been conversation over the past few days, I guess really over the past week, over so-called ownership of this prospective shutdown. The president last week saying, Senator Schumer memorably, that you can take ownership of, that he will take ownership of the shutdown himself. Recent comments indicating the president saying it's more the Democrats who are in charge here of what's to come. But in your view, who owns this prospective shutdown?
Look, that's a fair question, but I don't know, nor do I care. Everybody in Washington, D.C. is obsessed with that. You know, who's going to be the political winner or who's going to be the political loser? I don't think the American people care. I really think most Americans don't care who's liberal, who's conservative, who's left, who's right, who's up, who's down. They don't care about the poll numbers. They just want their government to work. And they want to feel safe in their own country, part of which is border security. Now, I have my own opinion. I saw the press conference or the TV replay of the meeting that the president had with the vice president, Mrs. Pelosi, Senator Schumer. I've never heard the president say, I'm happy to see government shut down. All I've ever heard him say was, I don't want to see government shut down. But he believes very strongly about the border wall, and so do I. Because border walls work. They're working now, and they're working in 70 to 100 other countries. You can write that down, take it home to mama. It's just a fact. It's a demonstrable fact. They work. And if you believe in border security, You have to support border walls. And the only reason the Democrats are not supporting a border wall and providing the funding is because they do not want to see President Trump get a victory. I mean, if they will agree with us to provide the money, it's not a Trump victory. It's an American victory as far as I'm concerned, because our border will be more secure. And that will strengthen the principle of legal immigration. So, you know, I don't know who's winning or who's losing, and politically, I'll leave that to the American people. They'll make up their own minds. I just know we need a border wall. And I know that Congress, primarily Democrats, some Republicans, but primarily Democrats, have jerked the president around on this issue for a long time. And he's mad as hell, and he's not going to take it anymore, and I don't blame him. And there's a real simple way out of this. Appropriate the $5 billion that the president needs.
Anyone else?
Do you want to talk at all about Syria?
Senator, if I may, just to follow up on what your remarks
Sure.
about the shutdown very quickly.
Who is this? I'm sorry, I don't recognize your voice.
Sorry, Senator Harrison Golden here again with WBLA.
Harris. Okay, you bet.
All right. So just following up on your remarks regarding the shutdown here, is the nuclear option something that's being considered at this point?
We haven't talked about that. You've got to be careful with the nuclear option. That door swings both ways. If the Democrats get control of the Senate again, a lot of the people arguing for a nuclear option are going to regret it. There's a reason we have a 60-vote threshold. It's frustrating sometimes. But if you get rid of it, then you have no standing to complain if there's a Democratic majority, and the Democratic majority, for example, establishes single-payer health care, regulates doctors and hospitals like utilities, and raises your taxes through the roof. And they could do that if they pursued the nuclear option.
Thanks, Tim.
You bet.
Anyone else?
Merry Christmas.
All right, I think we're good.
Hey, Senator Damien.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you comment on Syria while we have you?
Yes. I'm very sorry to see General Mattis go. He's a straight shooter, very experienced. But cabinet officials come and go, and presidents are entitled to have advisors around them of the president's choice. Let me say it again, though. I hate to see General Mattis go. In terms of the Syria withdrawal, I'm still listening to my colleagues on this. There are some of my colleagues, I would say most of my colleagues on the Republican side, think the Syria withdrawal is a bad idea. Some think it's a good idea. I haven't reached a conclusion yet. I'm listening carefully. Here's what I do know. American foreign policy cannot be amoral. Now, that's not to say that sometimes our policy doesn't contain some self-interest, but fundamentally, American foreign policy has to be grounded in values, in principles. And that really is what we're debating here. The only thing I'm certain of right now is this. If we do withdraw the 2,000 American troops from Syria, President Erdogan of Turkey has to be told in no uncertain terms that if he touches a hair on the head of our friends, the Syrian Kurds, without whom we could not have driven ISIS out of the Middle East, that the United States of America will respond with let me put it this way, will respond appropriately. That will be unacceptable. You do not leave your friends behind. That's the only thing right now that I'm absolutely certain of. Okay?
Thank you, guys.
Merry Christmas, guys.